If you are tuning in to watch this video, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to get to know a little bit more about Safe Haven. In all likelihood, you probably are already connected and involved in the agency in some way, and so thank you for the work that you do. We are able to have the impact that we are in this community because of our volunteers, our committee members, and our board members, and so thank you so much. In the next several minutes, I am going to take you through a couple different slides that give you an overview of Safe Haven and some of the important details about our program, our history, and how we do this work. So thank you so much, and we're going to go ahead and get started. In case you're wondering who this voice is, my name is Tara Ade. I am the Director of Prevention and Education here at Safe Haven. So, Safe Haven's mission is motivated by Christ's love. Our mission is to end domestic abuse, and that can seem like a really huge mission statement, and it definitely is, but one of the things that we really emphasize here at Safe Haven is the focus on trying to prevent violence before it happens. And so in a lot of the programming that we do, particularly in our prevention and education program, we focus on changing and shifting social norms because we believe that violence is preventable. The other part of our mission statement, motivated by Christ's love, we were founded by 6 local churches here in Grand Rapids, and it's really still part of our roots, and as a faith-based organization, we are motivated by that love. One of the things, though, that's really important for us to communicate in what that looks like to be a faith-based organization is that we will always meet folks where they're at. We are not a proselytizing or evangelical organization. Our goal here is just to be the hands and feet of Christ. And so what that means for us is that we in no way necessitate any sort of faith background or incorporate any sort of spirituality or faith in somebody's service plan unless that is totally motivated and initiated by the client. The other part of that, though, is that we do have some expertise, quite a bit of expertise in the intersection between faith and domestic violence. And so when individuals maybe are wrestling with their identity in Christ, or they are wrestling with maybe how the church has responded to them disclosing domestic violence, we are able to enter into that space and provide support and some expertise that for a lot of our clients is really important because they maybe haven't received that sort of support outside of this agency. So how do we do the work that we do here at Safe Haven? We really believe in something called an empowerment model, which can sometimes be this buzzword or this word that we hear a lot. And so I want to take a moment and just talk a little bit about what that looks like here at Safe Haven. An empowerment model for us means that we are truly meeting folks where they are at. And we are here to walk alongside individuals as they embark on their healing journey or continue on their healing journey. We are not here to solve or fix their problems. And we're not here to do that for a couple different reasons. But most importantly, because the folks that walk through our doors are incredibly strong. They are incredibly gifted and talented, and they don't need us to fix the problems for them. What we can do, though, and what an empowerment model looks like for us, is that we often are helping folks discover or rediscover their strengths and their skills to be able to problem solve. And so if we were to enter into a space and we were to try to fix the problems or rescue folks from the violence that they're experiencing, we're going to often leave folks disempowered. We're not going to create sustainable change in their lives, And we can also often create situations that are more dangerous if we try to just hurry in, fix the problems for somebody, because it often can leave them even more powerless. Another part that's really important to the work that we do here at Safe Haven is that we work in partnership. We are a growing organization, but we still are relatively small. But regardless of our size, our expertise is in domestic violence, but we know that domestic violence doesn't exist in a silo, right? So many folks that walk through our doors aren't just experiencing issues related to domestic violence. Oftentimes they come with a lot of other things that are happening in their lives, and we really look to the other experts in our community to help really provide that wraparound service so that folks can live healthy and safe lives. And so whether that's connecting folks with housing resources or mental health services or food services or educational or career or employment services. We are just meeting somebody where they're at, looking and trying to understand what their goals are for their life, and where we don't have maybe the capacity to offer those services, fostering those intentional partnerships so that we can make really meaningful connections for our clients in the rest of their lives. Back to our mission statement, if we're going to end domestic violence, we really have to do this work in a very multifaceted approach. And so we're often known for our shelter, and that is a core program here at Safe Haven, but it's only one of the many programs that we offer. We offer an array of intervention services from case management to legal advocacy. We don't have an attorney here on staff, but we're often helping clients figure things out like personal protection orders or helping them navigate the legal system, a custody, maybe hearing or trial. But we also look at kind of the lifespan of somebody that's experienced domestic violence and try to offer very meaningful intervention services at different places in a lifespan. And so what I mean by that is we offer programming for adults, such as that case management that I talked about, support groups, but we also offer services for youth and adolescents. When individuals are plugged into our support groups, we offer children's programming for those that may also be bringing children and need a program for them. We also offer a program called I Feel Better Now, which is a trauma-informed support group for individuals that have witnessed abuse in their home. And then we also service teens independently of their parents if they are experiencing abuse in their own relationships. And so one of the programs that we do in our prevention program is we're going into middle and high schools, and we're working to kind of shift social norms, help individuals create healthy relationships. But what we find is that a lot of times when we're going into those middle and high school classrooms, a lot of those youth unfortunately have already started to experience forms of violence in their own relationships. And so youth are able to plug into our program that way and get some support in safety planning, case management as well. And then the other thing that's really important is that all of our services are completely free. So we don't bill, we don't ask for insurance. We really try to remove any of those financial barriers that could keep somebody from getting engaged in our services. So I've kind of talked about our programs throughout this already, but just as kind of a bit of a review, we have 3 core programs here at Safe Haven: our residential program, our non-residential program, and our prevention and education program. And so our residential and non-residential program are our direct services, and our prevention program is the training and technical assistance that we do in the community. We also operate a 24/7 hotline, and something that's really important to know about that hotline is it's for individuals that are in crisis, but it's also for friends and family and community members that maybe are looking to support somebody and maybe they get stuck or they're not really sure how to support somebody or what that looks like. That's a resource that they can call. And the other thing that's really important about our hotline is that somebody calling our hotline doesn't have to have made the decision that they're ready to leave that abuser. It is for folks in all stages of their healing journey. Even if they are in that abusive relationship, they have no intentions of leaving, or they're not sure if they want to leave, we can still provide that emotional support, safety planning, and crisis intervention to those individuals as well. And in fact, many folks that do call our hotline are looking for those exact services. We are a bilingual agency as well. We have English and Spanish speaking staff here at Safe Haven. But when individuals that are monolingual speak other languages other than English and Spanish, we are going to utilize interpreter services to try to break down some of those language barriers so that they too can engage in services. Here are just some really quick photos. My guess is that many of you have already seen the building, but if you haven't, we are just so excited about this new building. And one of the questions that we get a lot of times around this new facility is, what are some of the biggest changes that you're seeing now that you're in this new building? And first and foremost is that we are no longer a confidential organization, in the sense that our location isn't confidential. We still uphold confidentiality in our services. But we, in putting everything under one roof, we were really able to offer more security and safety, because we built this amazing building from the ground up with safety and security in mind every step of the way. And so even though we are more public and we're more visible, we actually are more safe. So here is just another look at that building, and kind of maybe a little bit more towards the residential side of the building, and you can see where that pergola is right there. That is where most of our clients are entering when they are coming into shelter or just coming in and out from their day-to-day. Words of Hope is a wall right inside our main entry that we're really excited about, because one of the things that we know about victims and survivors of domestic violence is oftentimes their self-worth and their self-esteem has really been cut down as a tactic of that abuser. And so one of the neat things that we were able to design in this new building is this Words of Hope, where community members, current and former clients, really whoever, can write words of encouragement, and then anyone that's engaging in our services can take one of those or read those, and it's really just a neat way for folks to lift each other up and speak positivity into the lives of those that often don't get to hear those words of encouragement on a day-to-day basis. So one really neat thing that's happening here at Safe Haven. Our youth center, this is where children will engage in services when they are in children's programming or I Feel Better Now. We are just really excited about the space here and the capacity to do some really great work with the youth. And so here is just another quick review of some of the things that are happening here at Safe Haven that are a bit new. One of the things, too, that I'll say is that as you are plugged in to an event at Safe Haven, there is so many ways for folks to get involved in our agency. And so if anybody has questions or they're really energized about what it might look like for them to get plugged in, please encourage them to visit our website. If you go to www.safehavenministries.org/volunteer, you can see all of our current volunteer opportunities. You can also on our website find wish lists and just different ways for people to really get plugged in to our community. Just some really quick statistics that I want to share before we close out this video. We are obviously in a new building, and so these numbers are going to increase a lot. So these numbers are reflective of when we were in our old building, but I still think that they can tell an important story about the impact that we have in our community. And so last fiscal year we served just a little shy of 700 individuals between our residential and non-residential services. About 150 of those individuals were children. And so that just goes to show that children are a big part of the programming that we do, and in fact a little over 50% of the individuals that stay in our shelter are children. Our prevention and education program is an extremely robust program. We do an array of different types of trainings. I had mentioned going into high schools and middle schools. That's our teen dating violence prevention program. We're in about 14 different school districts. We reach about 2,000 individuals each academic year. It's a really amazing program because not only are we talking about healthy relationships, which for a lot of our youth, it's the first time they've had these types of conversations, but we're also actively working to change social norms and the culture in our community that lays the foundation for violence. So we're really engaging in some of that primary prevention because we want to really work towards that mission of ending domestic violence. Other trainings that we offer is our church certification program, which we launched a little over a year ago. We're going into churches. We're helping them establish some cultures of prevention through policy and procedure development, through training and technical assistance, so that they can really create a community, a congregation that's committed to preventing domestic violence and appropriately responding if and when somebody in their congregation comes forward with disclosure of domestic violence. Other prevention trainings that we offer is our Safe Haven Works program. We're going into businesses. We also do a lot of education in higher ed and quite a few trainings that we offer in-house, like our domestic violence seminar, which just recently we've also added continuing education units to those trainings as well. So last fiscal year we offered 4,475, we reached 4,475 individuals through about 422 trainings, so a huge number there. And then I had mentioned our hotline. Last fiscal year, just over 3,000 individuals reached out to our hotline for support, crisis intervention, and safety planning. So what can you do? You know, if you're having a conversation with somebody and they're really energized and they want to get involved, here are some things that you can use as talking points to help them feel like they can very intentionally get involved in our mission. This is not an exhaustive list. I am sure that many of you have your own personal stories to tell, and I encourage you to use those stories because that's what's going to create meaning for the folks that you are working with. But here are just a few. I really like this first one, and that is when we see things that are uncomfortable, it can be really hard to talk about it. Whether it's something we're witnessing directly, maybe when we're out with a circle of our friends, or we're out in the community, or we hear something reported in the media that just is really harmful. Maybe it feeds into a myth around domestic violence, or maybe it just really negatively portrays a victim or survivor of domestic violence. As uncomfortable as it may be, I'm going to challenge you to speak up and use your voice. It is one of your greatest powers, and it is one of the most impactful ways that we can move that needle towards our mission of ending domestic violence. Empowering young girls and boys to be strong, confident leaders. When we build resiliency and self-confidence in the people that we have in our lives, whether we're mentoring them or we're parenting them or we're a sibling to them, whatever that might be, when we're building that confidence, we're working towards building healthier and happier communities. If you have somebody you're working with and they want to learn more, encourage them to get plugged into one of Safe Haven's trainings. We offer domestic violence seminar almost every other month, and it's a great way to just, it's a great way to really just dig in and learn a little bit more about Safe Haven. Tangible ways is, of course, volunteering, engaging in a wish list drive, or a pantry drive are some other great ways to get involved. And then I'm just going to leave you with this because it's one of my favorite quotes, and I think it really speaks into that idea of being an active bystander and actively joining our mission. And so whenever one person stands up and says, wait a minute, this is wrong, it helps other people to do the same. And so thank you so much for listening. I hope that this gave you a good overview of who we are here at Safe Haven. And of course, I just want to say thank you for the work that you are doing. We are able to make the impact that we are here in West Michigan because of folks like you. Thank you so much.